My name is Gaurav. I have been working with startups for over 10 years now in different capacities, mostly as a founder, co-founder and CTO. Currently, I'm a co-founder and CTO at an AI safety startup. We have Augustus here with us, who's the founder and CEO of a company called CallHub. I'll let Augustus introduce himself.
Sure. Nice to be here. My name's Augustus. I'm the founder and CEO of CallHub. I've been running CallHub for about 10 years now. So we are about 40 to 50 people company and making about 5 to 10 million annual revenue. I've known Gaurav for a really long time. We've known each other
Not that long.
Not that long?
Yeah, maybe 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
Okay, 4 years is a long time.
Yeah, but we haven't met that many times. Maybe 5 times, maybe total.
Yeah. And we had like a lot of deep conversations with each other.
Yeah, that's actually that way we've known each other for a very long time. Because you don't have that depth of connection and conversation with people you've met 100 times also.
Yeah. So we talked about startups, we talked about spirituality, we talked about consciousness, we talked about right way of building businesses. We have very contrarian views.
That we connect on a lot.
Connect on. And great to be here.
Great to have you. Okay, maybe let's start with a little bit of your journey before CallHub, and then we can talk about CallHub from there.
Sure. So I worked in the industry. I worked at Sun Microsystems. I worked at Yahoo. For about
as an engineer on the tech side?
On the tech side. So I've been an engineer all along. I just love code. So I've been programming since I was like maybe in 10th grade, I think. I just love programming. I don't know. Once I found computers, I just loved it.
Same here.
And yeah, right? Yeah. So and then like through college, hiding games within Windows or within Unix, starting from there.
Nice.
To like writing small games in BASIC maybe.
That was my first programming achievement also, writing a game in BASIC.
There you go, see? And like playing Pac-Man, I'm like, how do I build this myself? Kind of a thing, right? So it starts with that kind of a curiosity. And then I worked at Sun. I worked at Sun in their Sun cluster, which is a mix of kernel code and user-land code, which was like, oh my God, exciting for me, right? So for me, like when people talk about full stack, for me, stack starts at like, bare metal and builds up from there.
Right. That's a real full stack.
That's a real full stack, yeah. So it's fun programming, file systems, block devices, all the way to like, management systems. And now we are in like maybe React kind of code.
Right.
So, or maybe AI, you don't even have to write code anymore.
Now you write English.
So it's been a fun journey. So primarily on the tech side, being like architecting multiple systems, distributed systems, high availability clusters, stuff like that. I moved to sort of internet-based programming at Yahoo. I worked in Yahoo for like about a year. And then
Which year was this?
This was in 2010, 2010 timeframe. Then I quit my regular job in 2011, and then started the journey of like figuring out what I wanted to do and like startups. So I think CallHub as a company, we started serving customers in 2014.
So why did you take the decision to quit your job and start something of your own?
So I mean, multiple reasons. Okay, so I always had this innate need to stand out. I grew up in a sort of a middle class family where like everybody were like small pawns, but I always wanted to stand up like at school, at college, then working. So I'm like, okay, so after a point in large companies, things don't move as fast as I wanted to,
right.
And the impact that you can create personally.
Was that like frustrating for you? How did you feel?
After a point, there was like, something drawing me out of it. I just couldn't stay in that kind of system anymore. So I came out 2010 to, okay, so let me create a much larger impact, move faster, invest in myself and figure out where life takes me. And the day I quit my job, I felt so much relief more than anything.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
It seems like so much constraints were around me, and I'm like
you feel
finally
free.
free.
You feel so much freedom.
Yeah.
Like you had been chained, you didn't even realize how chained you were.
Yeah, right. And you've been chained, I think, ever since childhood. Okay, it felt really good to like break that and come out and okay, let's now figure out what where life takes you. So that was the motivation, I think.
Were you good at school and college, like in terms of the traditional definition of being good at, like getting marks and?
I was okay. I was good at school. I mean, I was seemed like I was good at everything I did. So I just wanted to keep pushing my boundaries at it.
Getting good at a harder thing.
Yeah, at school I got like 100 out of 100. I'm like, okay, this didn't seem so hard enough. At college, I was the first in college, and it didn't seem like I was doing too much work at it.
Wasn't pushing your limits.
I wasn't pushing my limits. So like, okay, so then I really needed something to push my limits, I think. Maybe that was constraining at some point, I don't know.
Okay, so you left your job, and then what happened?
I left my job, okay. So initially you feel free, but then life's forces act on you, right? Like you still need some money, you still need like take care of your family. I mean, you still have all those other
remaining foundations which are still there.
So that's true, right? All of that we have to break free of. But I couldn't break free, at least at that point. So I had to make something work. I also had some money saved up. I mean, I had lived in the US for a while, for about like from 2000, like around 99 till 2009, I stayed in California. Okay. So I had some money saved up. Okay, so I have like a runway. Let me figure out something. And then I figured out multiple businesses. None of those businesses really took off. I mean, there are like multiple products I could build, but I couldn't figure out a way to sell them.
For how long did you do this? Like trying different products?
So I think 2011, maybe I quit till 2014 when we got the first customer. I mean, even before that, I mean, we had customers, but they were really small and less in number. But I was just churning out products.
Okay.
I was churning out like, different versions of a chat product when chat didn't exist.
And was this on your own or with the team, or like mix sometimes on your own sometimes with the team?
Interesting. No, it was all on my own. So because I was really good at programming, I was just able to build tools really well. Yeah. So I built products on my own. So, I mean, we had the chat product and different versions of the chat product, embedding it into the website. Maybe it's a standalone product. And building new features. That was exciting. I did a travel startup before that. Okay, so I did like something called related to travel, something related to chat, and then I did one with another friend of mine, a security product. So
how did you come up with what to build back then? Like, how did you decide this is the thing I want to build? Was it just like some idea in your head, or
no? It was just like whatever was interesting. In terms of technology, I think that's probably a flaw now I realize. But at least at that time, it was interesting in terms of tech. It seemed like something new that didn't exist.
Right. Okay, so I would build curiosity as a technologist to
keep building it. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how I built it.
That was the driver to I want to build this product or this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then try to sell it. But I also believe that if you build a great product, people will come and use it. So all those are flaws. Okay? Like, I think now 10 years later, I think those are all flaws. Yeah. But at that time, it's like, oh, this is really cool. Yes. And I would go around to all these startup meetups, and people would look at the product and say, oh, this is interesting. Oh, this is different. This is cool. That's all. It was a cool tech.
Right.
Maybe you probably still get that.
Of course.
Right. You build. I mean, you definitely have built a lot of cool tech.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, 50 plus random products.
Right, there you go. It's cool, no? And that itself was fun. Building it is fun. Sitting in front of a computer and making it do what you want it to do is amazing. Yeah. So keep building. So we had like an attic at the top floor of my house where I used
to sit like in typical startup founding office.
Yeah, just sit and code. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I had to do. And I had like nobody else. I mean, I tried initially to get some co-founders, but either people weren't interested, People were not in a different stage of life that they weren't ready to quit their jobs.
It takes a lot of courage to do that as well. Even if you have savings, it still takes a lot of courage.
Yeah. So I asked a lot of my friends who wants to come, let's do something together. Like different people were not ready for different reasons. I said, chuck it, okay, I'm going to do it. Like walk along a path. Maybe somebody else would come along and want to join the path. And I quit. And even the day I quit, I think some of my friends said, don't do this.
Don't do. Of course, everyone tells you not to do that. Back then it was even more severe. Nowadays people still like, okay, startup is something which can work. Back then it was like, you're crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. People said, it's easy to register a company. Dude, how do you make a business out of this? It's not going to become a business. Like, what are you talking about? Okay. But I was naive, I think, at that time.
All of us were in the beginning.
And quit and build something.
So that happened, went on till 2014?
Yeah, so different products, different things. And then my money, all the relocation money that I got from the US to here ran out.
Of course.
I had like about 2 years of runway, and 2 years of runway ran out in 2013-ish. I'm like, what do I do? Maybe I go back to consulting. Consulting seems like some way to make money. So I was actually ready to go back to consulting. There was a consulting opportunity that did come up, which just seemed like a really good opportunity. Somehow, I could figure out excuses why I should not take that consulting opportunity.
Because deep down, somewhere you maybe know that this is not what I want to be doing.
Yeah, but I want the money. My money.
Yeah, so those are the conflicting forces there, right? You need money. You really don't want to do this. Do you make the sacrifice to get the money?
Yeah,
I face that as well whenever I'm running low on money.
All the time. And I think those forces were actually helpful, because I think that sort of forced me to figure out the business aspect of it. Figure out how to distribute the product, figure out marketing, figure out sales. Like, I remember talking to my friend of mine, I'm in my last like 1 lakh rupees. What do I do? And this friend says, simple, hire a sales guy. Hire a sales guy. I had so much aversion to sales at this point. I'm like, no, I'm not going to hire a sales guy. Why would I hire a sales guy? I would hire a marketing person.
Okay.
But I ended up hiring nobody. Okay. And then learn to do marketing myself. I think that's probably what helped. I'm running out of money. Somebody, in the last 1 lakh, figure out, hire a salesperson.
So you learned marketing then?
I learned marketing, yeah.
Okay. And
that's the main thing. I think that was the key. It's like, okay, so keep building products for years, nothing works. I learned marketing.
It was like a first fundamental shift.
Yeah.
When you were forced to learn marketing because you were running out of money.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's what forced me to learn marketing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm keep telling you. It's like, technology is great.
Yeah.
Innovation is great.
It's not
but there's no distribution. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Like nobody hears the sound of a tree that falls in the forest where there's nobody there to see it.
Yeah, absolutely true.
So you could have a great product, zero distribution, worthless, unfortunately. So I learned that lesson the hard way, and learned marketing. And marketing, at least at that time, this was like around 2013, 2014 time, was like just writing good content that people want to come to.
That was the era of content marketing, yeah.
Content marketing, right? Yeah. So a lot of writing really good content, writing about your own personal experiences of whatever you learned in the problem space that you are in. And I learned backlinks. They said you get backlinks to your site, everything works.
SEO works. And
right. So then it seemed like now I have a new problem. All I have to do is figure out a way to get backlinks.
Right.
That's easy for me. All I have to do is build integrations with every tool out there, and they give me backlinks. Yes. So Google gave me a backlink. You wouldn't believe it. Like I create integration with Google. Google gave me a backlink.
SEO score goes way up.
Right. Salesforce gives me backlink. Nice. Shopify gave me backlink.
Nice.
Like everybody gives me backlink. So it seems like easy to hack this way around to get backlinks.
So you got visibility using this technique.
Yeah. So I listed in every marketplace.
So
instead of writing content and getting backlinks, I was building integrations and getting backlinks. For me, building integrations was like a 2-day job. Okay.
Right.
Going through that process took a little bit longer time.
So this was like your growth hack to not spend tons of money and resources while still gaining crazy visibility.
And now I'm sort of getting traffic. I'm getting really high domain authority, page authority.
And was this with CallHub?
It was with CallHub.
This was with CallHub. Okay.
So then I started hacking around the internet to figure out a way to get backlinks. At that time, actually, LinkedIn used to give a backlink, Twitter used to give a backlink. Anywhere you go, I can get a backlink. And I was just like, hacking ways to get backlinks.
Awesome.
It's so easy.
Awesome.
So then that got a lot of traffic. And then is when actually we started getting some amount of customers who wants to pay for it. The first time money came in, it was like so rewarding.
Yeah. Because you worked so hard for it.
Yeah. So that $100 that you earn from customers seems so much valuable than all the money that you made from a salary. It's like, it's a huge shift.
The fulfillment is a different level.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how I guess CallHub was founded or
that's how CallHub started.
All right. And maybe let's talk about the journey since then. Let's just continue on this track of CallHub.
So after that, then we got customers. So one of those backlinks really worked really well. Okay, it turned out to be an integration that customers needed. Okay, so I'm just hacking. I built a simple product, like the initial product was just a voice broadcasting product. Like VoIP was taking off, and Venki was like the building Plibo. He's like, okay, so this thing, you use my API, build a voice broadcasting app, and people would pay money to use this.
Right.
So we built this out. I'm getting traffic, and there is one set of customers that like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, where were you all these years? Okay. And that's at least the inkling of a product market fit there.
Which year was this?
This is in end of 2014.
Okay.
This was people who are coming from one integration called the Nation Builder, which was a CRM built for political campaigns.
I see.
So people coming from that integration, they just loved it. And they're like, we have been waiting for it almost. Okay, so then, and they once I got like 1,000, so my goal at that point was to get $1,000 of revenue. Okay, because $1,000 of revenue means INR to USD was like about 50 at that time, 50,000 rupees. I can survive a month on 50,000 rupees.
Okay, so you're not bleeding money anymore.
Yeah, so I got the $1,000 of revenue in 2014. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, so this
now you're set.
Now I don't have to go back to a corporate job anymore, and that was amazing. Because going through this from 2011 till like 2014 was kind of stressful. I'm figuring out consultancy. Maybe I have to go back to a job. This seems like a stupid idea. Everybody said it's a stupid idea. It is a stupid idea. Why did you do this? And now you got $1,000, so I don't have to go back. So then that's when things started building. So once you get the initial set of customers, then the game became a little bit more easier. Okay. Because you can just ask them, what else do you want? How simple can that be, right?
And then you build it.
That's it. So I keep doing this till almost middle of 2015.
Okay.
Customers are coming in. I'm building stuff for them. They love it, and they keep using it. Okay. So I think 2015 we made good revenue. I remember. I think it was like about 300K.
You went from $1,000 to 300,000 in a year.
$1,000. We made $40,000 in 2014.
Okay.
And 2015 we made $300,000.
Wow. And how big was the team then?
Just me. It's still me.
Are you serious?
And I had different aliases for myself. Because I felt
you want to pretend to be a team.
Yeah, I pretended because I was like, if the customers know that the customer support person is also the CEO, maybe they'll think this company is not worth my money.
Yeah, we've done that many times, having different IDs and different.
So I had names of my kids as different
people in the company.
Yeah. And maybe I shouldn't say my names of my kids now because my first customers would figure out. But I used the word Jaden. Okay, so there used to be people called Jaden in CallHub, and Jaden was the support person, the marketing person.
Right.
So the support responses come from Jaden. but the CEO is Augustus. It was that way.
Why was all you in the back end? You were writing everything.
Till 2015, I think I was doing customer support. I was taking the sales calls. I was also building, and I was also writing some content and building integrations and stuff like that.
Okay.
So we had integrations for everything out there. But then I figured out, okay, so maybe I should build more political integrations, because these people seem to have a lot more need for the product immediately. So then I built a second version of the product called the call center, which is a distributed, like a phone banking kind of a software.
So this is in 2015-16.
This is in 2015.
At this point, have you raised any funding? Have you approached VCs, talked to investors?
No, I'm making a lot of money now. I have a lot of money. So I could hire people.
So you never even tried?
I didn't try at all.
Okay.
I tried it for the earlier versions of the products that I built.
Right.
In, I think, 2011, 2012 time frame.
Okay.
For the chat product, I remember going to VCs and pitching.
The ones who did not have paying customers.
Yeah.
Those products.
that was the idea, dude. We have an idea. VCs who didn't invest in the idea that will take over the world.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
So that was the pitch. I was asking them, I'm going to take over the world.
Yeah.
But this was actually giving me money. Right. So I didn't need the VC money at that point.
Okay.
So I started building a team. So I think around the end of 2015 is probably when I started hiring for people.
And what was your first hire? Which role?
First hire was a software engineer. So I had a front-end engineer as the first hire.
All right.
Then a back-end, I had a CTO kind of a person who will take away engineering, senior person who will take away the engineering thing and start building the product.
And you would transition to the more business stuff.
I was doing customer support.
Right.
I was doing marketing, and I was also doing sales calls. If the lead comes in, I'll do sales calls.
Okay.
So that was the first team. First team is actually a tech team. I think that was also a good thing. I think somebody else also asked me this. I think the first team should always be a team that you are strong in. Okay. It's easy to delegate that way. It's easy to figure out, to guide them if they make mistakes and all of that. Okay. And then I had the marketing team, which is still just content writers, who do writing. So we used to churn out lot of blogs around that time.
Was that your source of lead gen?
Primarily only marketing. So we hired a marketing manager and a couple of content writers. So we are one marketing manager to a couple of content writers, and then a 3 people engineering team for a long time, about for a year or so.
Okay. Wow.
So consistently writing content and building the product. And for this audience of people who were really, really interested, who came from Nation Builder, now from the other CRMs that we have integrated with in the political space. There was Blue State Digital, I think, CVCRM, Salesforce. And then at some point we also got NGP WAN, I think. So these are all CRMs that political candidates and political organizations and advocacy groups were using. And they came in droves, I think. 2016.
Did you get an office at this point when you hired?
Yeah, when I hired the first team, I think we got a small 2-bedroom office.
Okay, like a house converted.
Like a house converted an office. Okay. Yeah.
And then you went with that for over a year.
We went with that till about 2017, I think.
Okay.
Till 2017, a couple of years we were there. We were building the product. So I think the tech team rewrote the call center pieces. We started building more products. So once you have customers, it becomes really, really easy. Okay, you just ask them what they want to and keep building for it.
Can we talk about the financials here if you're comfortable? So you said you're making $300K.
Right. And then we made 600K. I think 2016
but
we
then
made
how much
600K.
were you spending on this team?
The team was small at this point. 3 people tech
and
team.
The office, what was your total burn? Some indication? Estimate.
But we are profitable though.
Less than 100K, less than 200K.
Yeah, maybe 100 to 200K, I would say. I don't remember. The team was about... How big was the team? So I would say
you said there was a front-end engineer, back-end CTO fellow.
Right.
And then next was a content person.
So about maybe 40 lakhs for the tech team, maybe around 20 to 30 lakhs for the engineering team. Yeah, so we're talking about like the annual.
Less than 150K.
So, yeah, 150K.
So, but then if you're making more than 300K, you did not feel like spending more money to do more stuff, hire a bigger team. What was the thought process like there? Because very often,
Right, we were
when you
profitable.
have money to
though.
spend, you spend it, right? Like, I mean, but in this case, it seems like you spend very, very cautiously, even though you had the money.
Good
What was the
question.
thought process there?
So, okay, so we are profitable. Okay, so we are making a profits. Why did I not spend the money? Good point. Okay, so I think the initial stages, money was not the limiting factor. Okay, because I don't think, at least I knew where to spend the money. Like, okay, so I have 300K. Let's say I'm spending 150K. I have 150K in the bank.
Right.
Where would I spend that money so that it's a good investment for the customers?
Right.
Was not totally clear.
Okay.
So we didn't have like an ad engine working that's, you throw money at it, get more leads. That was not the case here. We have to write content and do the work and be consistent with it.
But did you try like AdWords or?
Of course we tried.
You tried?
I personally did the AdWords.
So you
and tried
experimented, it didn't work, so you knew that this is not a good investment.
Yeah.
So and other, I'm guessing other channels of growth as well.
Was content. So see, the initial, I think for me, the initial idea was compound. Okay. So build assets that compound.
Okay.
And initially there are only 2 assets that were compounding.
So what does that mean, compounding? Can you explain that?
So something that you, so something that gives you reward consistently over time and builds your core asset. Okay. So like a product. Okay. So product is an asset that you build once and then you can sell that multiple times.
Right.
And you invest more in it, you become a bigger asset that you can sell for more right? So it just compounds, like increases in value over time.
Right. So the ROI is compounding is huge because it's
incremental.
Same, yeah. Okay.
And the same thing for content also. Okay. So content also, you write really good content and it's an asset.
It keeps giving back
over time. And the more it gives, the more again it becomes a more worthy of an asset.
Right. So
there's like a more valuable as an asset.
So it's a virtuous cycle there and it's super efficient financially in terms of ROI.
Right. So the only investments at this point were
something that
in
fits
the product
this criteria
and the content. Okay. Because these were all assets. Okay. And ads, at least I couldn't envision them as assets at this point. We definitely tried ads. We tried bringing in customers through ads. It didn't seem like it's a scalable ROI.
Okay.
And it didn't seem like an asset that we can build over time at that point to me.
Okay. What other things did you try which did not work?
Okay, ads didn't work. Sales,
like
so
sales
we
people,
tried sending like cold emails and so.
Okay, cold reach outs didn't work.
Cold reach outs didn't work. Okay. What else didn't work?
And what were you even chasing before? Like we determined what didn't work. What were you trying to achieve? Growth, more sales, anything else? I mean, those are the obvious ones. Anything else you were trying to achieve?
So, okay, my first goal was, I don't want to go back to another job anymore.
Okay. It's a great goal to have.
That's like goal number 1. Yeah. I'm not going back and moving to a slow moving, less impactful role.
Right.
So that was achieved, I think, like maybe even 2015.
When you made your first 1,000 or the next 1,000.
We have achieved that. Okay. Now, more value for the customers. Okay. So the customers, I felt very, what do we say? Like somebody is paying money and using the product gives you so much joy that you want to keep giving more and more value to them.
Right.
So there was this philosophy that you always give more.
Okay.
And I just wanted to give. Okay. Dude, these people are using my code and giving me money. I'm like, oh my God, what else do I need?
Super fulfilling, right?
It's so fulfilling, that they're using my code and giving me money. I'm like grateful. Okay. And I will give you more. Okay. Tell me what else you want. I'll keep giving you more. And that showed in customer support. Okay. the initial customers, we built stuff for them just because they had a problem in customer support. So they will come to me and said, "Oh, I have this problem. I'm bringing data from here. I'm using this way. I need this data this way." I would build a custom script and respond to them on customer support. Here's a script that will solve your problem. They're like bowled away. Okay, like what this kind of support are you doing here?
You're building me a product to solve my problem.
And it's just for them. It's a very, so that way I just building. Okay, I think building and helping them was the main goal at the point. So we're just investing in building more and more stuff for the customers.
So what was the
that was
goal?
joyful, and we just keep doing that.
Right. So the goal was basically generating more customer value. More value for customers.
And we were not charging them for it. Okay, maybe we should have charged more for it, but we didn't charge them.
You were
for
just
it.
happy.
And we didn't even increase the
happy.
prices for a long time, and they were getting more and more value, more and more features coming out. So and later I think one customer told me. I mean later, like few years later, they said they stuck with CallHub because there was that change in the product every month. There is something new coming out, more value coming out. It seems like if you stay longer, you get more value.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And it was fun and fulfilling for me to do. So we kept doing that for a long time. We didn't need money. We are generating profit and building more product. But it wasn't something that you can throw money at it. Okay, it is something that you have to build with care, with customers, and that takes time.
Not money.
Not money. Yeah, and identifying
effort.
the problems, time, effort, energy
Intensity.
for it. But money was not a limiting factor.
Right.
Even if I had, I had money in the bank. You have infinite money. There's nothing you can do to solve a customer problem. Solve the customer problems. No.
Like you have to get into it intensely. You have to be in it.
Yeah, and
That's
be
how-
in it for a long time, and be in it consistently. Okay, so it's not that you are intense for a week and let go, but consistently. Okay, so consistently every month we will send out a product newsletter of all the changes that we have done, and people used to look forward to that. I think because every month the product keeps changing,
Right.
and we are writing content. So I think that's the only thing that we are doing for a really long time actually, building the product and writing content.
Okay. So you
till
said this-
about 2017. So 2017, we decided, okay, we need to newer offers. We are hiring a little bit more people in the tech.
What was the team then?
The tech team became how big was the tech team? Okay, so we had 3 people, each of us having individual desks, sitting in a small room.
Okay.
But that wasn't scalable. Okay, so then we bought one big desk, and we all sat because what do you mean individual desk? 3 people, we can't hire more people, and we have only less space. No, so we got one big desks, and we had 6 people sitting around it.
So you scaled from 3 small desks to 1 big desk.
One big desk.
Okay.
Yes, that's what we did.
That's a different definition of scaling.
So we had 6 people in one room and 4 people in another room. So it's about 10 people.
This is the same 2-bedroom.
Same 2-bedroom.
Okay.
10 people in the 2-bedroom. Now we said, okay, maybe we need a bigger office. So 2017, we moved to a little bit larger office. And then we said, okay, let's build a sales team now. Okay, maybe sales will work. So I read this book called Predictable Revenue. I don't know if you've read this book.
Okay.
There's a book called Predictable Revenue that you can talk about. How can you predictably build a sales team with separate functions. Okay, there's a lead generation function.
Right.
There's a SDR function. So from the leads, it goes to good leads go to the SDRs. SDRs would call, email, and set up meetings for another team called the AEs. And AEs would give a demo of the product and close the sale. Okay. And how predictable revenue talks about how do you set it up, how the process should work,
The system, the whole
system like
Okay.
that. Okay, great. I
So you bought into that method and you set it up
and set up the
for
Pakka sales team in 2018. Okay, you know what? Doesn't work. Okay, it maybe works for large companies like maybe Salesforce and Amazon.
Right.
You have these different teams. They're passing the ball, and this is all a dream. Much better was me as a founder getting on a sales call and doing everything and converting it.
Okay.
This passing the ball and so many different teams was absolute bullshit. But I bought into this predictable revenue, so I'm going to make my revenue predictable. And and I spent so fine-tuning the process. So process is a problem. Now then people was the problem. Then language was the problem. Then product was the problem.
You're
Okay,
like,
there's so
I
many
am doing-
problems, but nothing worked. Okay.
So you're like, I am doing something wrong and not implementing it correctly, but the
Yeah.
funda is correct.
Because that person wrote a book on it. Na?
Right. But ultimately you realize the funda doesn't work for
Yeah,
your
it doesn't work.
startup,
Okay.
your stage.
So then I had to scrap the whole thing. But we lost significant amount of time in it. I think if you had gotten VC money, maybe that's what we would have done, is to build this fancy sales team. With
and the
all these
VCs would have told you to
different
do it
layers.
as well.
VCs would ask me to...
and told you to read 2 more books and implement that.
Right, yeah, maybe that would happen.
Anyway, so you figured out that this doesn't work.
Yeah, but it took me a long time and a lot of painful moments to actually figure that out.
course,
Okay,
yeah.
but because you've gone down the path, you have people, you have team, you have training,
Yeah.
you have like a structure in place, and stuff.
Very
Oh my
difficult
god!
to-
Okay,
yeah. Then you just want to make it work one way or the other, right? That's a
Yeah.
You feel compelled to figure it out.
and the first sales manager who came in said, "You didn't have a sales team. You have so much revenue. How did this happen? It doesn't happen this way."
It does not, yeah.
So all the salespeople are surprised that we didn't have a sales team.
Then what happened when you figured out, okay, this doesn't work? What did you do then?
What did we do? So that sales team only, oh my god, okay. That went through for till maybe 2020, 2021, or so many years, 2020, I think. And we rebuilt that sales team so many different times because sales team would quit. There was also a challenge of the sales team needing to work in the night shift, okay, which is like, I was sitting in Bangalore. Majority of our customers were in the US shift, the US time zone. And the sales team would work in the night.
That was not effective.
And I was killing myself. Okay, I was like working 2 shifts. I will work in the day and in the night. And I would go home in between to sleep for us and then come back and then work with the sales team, try to make
That's
this work.
not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. It was very painful once I got on this path. Then what did I do? But we moved that. I think I figured out that sales team was not working. Okay, I think 2018 it should have worked, didn't work. 2019, 2020 it didn't work, and then we moved to primarily, I think, just servicing the leads coming in inbound through marketing, and that was the only channel that was working.
Which is what you were doing before all this.
Yeah,
Years ago.
we just did that,
Right.
and that was still working. I think our marketing engine was really, really strong. We had built this assets over a long period of time, and that was giving us results. So that was great. Okay, so I think we didn't build a sales team, outbound sales team, almost till.
So did you scrap the sales team you had built as a very brave call to
No,
take?
people left. Okay, a lot of people left,
Right,
and
you
then
just did
we
not-
moved them to servicing inbound leads. Okay, so we're not doing
got it.
outbound anymore. We are doing inbound and just doing inbound, servicing inbound leads, making sure they are having a great experience onboarding them to the product, and they finally end up.
So you just absorbed it elsewhere and then dismantled this process of predictable revenue.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's what we did.
Okay. And this was around 2020.
Around 2020, yeah.
And then what happened after that?
So after that, I think
How much revenue were you at this point?
so
Maybe 2017.
2020 was a great year for us, okay, because it was COVID.
Before that, 2017, what revenue point were you at? Do you remember?
20.
That was another inflection
I
point.
think
where you-
2018 was an inflection point. Okay, more than
Okay.
2017. 2018 we made more than $1 million. Okay,
First year of $1 million.
$1 million of revenue was 2018. And we still don't have a sales team, I think. Okay. And then 2018 to 2020, I think, so we are again investing more in the product. Okay, the new stuff that we are going to build.
Right.
2020 was an amazing year for us. Okay, so our product is, by the way, seasonal in nature because we are serving these political campaigns, advocacies, and non-profits.
So it's to do with elections?
With elections, the usage in the product goes up. Okay.
Right.
So the even years, so we see a huge bump, and the odd years we see a dip. So 2020 was COVID and an election year.
Okay.
Okay. So then we hit close to $5 million of revenue in 2020.
Okay. Wow.
Actually. Because the election year and COVID, where all of this electioning moved from offline channels to online channels, helped us. And so 2020 was a great year. We shared the profits that we made that year with the team. There was a huge profit sharing initiative. I mean, we set up at the beginning of 2020. We set up a goal, like an audacious goal. Okay, because the year before we had made like about close to $2 million.
Okay.
I think we said, okay, if we double the revenue next year, we will do a profit sharing.
Everyone gets a bonus.
Solid bonus, yeah. And we set up like slabs also. Okay, we hit this revenue, this revenue.
Okay.
And we exceeded our wildest, the highest slab we had.
Okay.
We exceeded that in 2020 because of COVID and because of the election year and stuff. So we shared the profits.
Your team must have been super happy.
Team was happy, yeah. Team was happy. But I think even that is a mistake, okay. Because it's a very short-term thing, okay.
Right.
So it stayed.
It is important to celebrate wins.
We did celebrate the win. I mean, because we did set up like a goal and exceeded those goals.
Right.
But it was a short term. I think money,
it is a short term.
Money as a motivator is a very short term motivator.
Yes, absolutely. It is useful, but short term. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got that. So that was fun.
Nice. 2020. Okay. And how big was the team then?
2020. How big was the team? Maybe around 30 people at this point. Still heavily engineering and marketing focused.
So still you're like growing the team very cautiously.
Yeah. So still, I think I don't think we actually ever figured out this concept of throwing money at the problem. Okay. We still
Which is a good thing.
building the products that customers want, and building more and more. So now what's happened is initially the product solves one problem. Okay. Then we solve some of the adjacent problems. We asked them what they wanted, and we built and solved adjacent problems.
So you tied into the customer segment and then try to make their life easy in every way you could possibly.
Now I think back at it, it seems that way. But that time we were building for everybody. Okay. We are not really clear on what our ICP was, and we were trying to build it for everybody, make it as generic as possible.
Whatever felt right in the moment, you would like build it for them, and
But then at some point we had to focus on, okay, when do we say no to it? Because we come from this thing of, okay, we're going to generate value for it for anybody. And that made the whole thing very thin. You cannot really go in depth in the product. Okay. So at some point we had to say no to some set of people and yes to some set of people. And that turned out to be the political, non-profit and the advocacy set of people, and more focused features for them and less features for the business customers that we have.
How did you come to this decision?
So the split was actually pretty even. Okay, so split was even till about, I think, even up to 2019.
Like split of revenue?
Split of revenue between business customers and the political customers was even. But then we decided to lean a lot more into political customers in 2020 because it was an election year and a lot more of those customers were asking. And we didn't build the depth of the product. We are like, more broader bunch of tools useful for people. 2020 we started building the depth, I think, and the depth if you can only build if you focus on a narrow niche. So we built the depth for the political customers in 2020. That helped, and we still, I think there is still depth to be built, but at least we clearly defined our ICP in 2020 clearly.
Right. And what was the burn rate at this point? When you made 5 million revenue 2020, 2 million in 2019.
Right.
What was
burn
the
rate was low,
annual burn?
I think we made good couple of $1 million of profit.
In which year? 2020.
2020, I think. So we still had money that we could invest back into the business. Okay. So again, I think we invested back into the product. All the investment back into the product. And then I think, again, we built one different version of a sales team. So this is when I think 2021 is when we decided, okay, we need to have a US presence because this whole working in the Indian time zone and then serving customers in the US time zone was a little bit difficult. So I think we started hiring a team in the US in around 2021.
How did you do this? Did you just use an agency there, or did you go and personally try to hire, or did you send a team member there?
So that's an interesting story here. Okay, so one of our customers who used us in 2020, this is actually more interesting. So we signed a really large contract with the customer in 2020. Okay, it was close to a $500K contract.
Okay.
And the contract fell through. So, this customer signed the contract, and we had a penalty for walking away from the contract. But the customer had some other expectations with their clients. Therefore, they signed the contract with us. Their expectations failed. They changed strategies or something.
Okay.
So they couldn't fulfill our contract. Okay. They came back to us and said, we can't fulfill the contract. We're going to pay the breakout fee and get out. Okay. And we negotiated with the customer, and we came out of the contract. So the 500K contract didn't happen. But the whole experience was so smooth for them that they wanted to become a partner.
Okay. Partner in what sense?
They wanted to help us get more customers.
Okay. So they want to bring you business.
They wanted to bring us business. So we became a customer, a deal fell through. They became a partner, and they finally helped us hire our US team when we wanted to move to the US. So I traveled to the US, and they were like, okay, feel free to use our office.
Nice.
And we're still using their office though.
Nice.
And they helped us build the US team.
Amazing.
So that was nice. So I think it's a contract falling through and this whole partnership happening. I don't know. It's just the universe helping you, I think.
Yeah.
That's great.
Some things you just cannot plan or predict.
Yeah. So it was fun. So we built the US team in 2021. I think we made a couple of mistakes, but then we hired the team. I mean, we tried to build the whole remote team in the US. Try to make people work from home. Actually, that also, I think the initial set didn't work. Okay. I think just last year, 2024 or 2023, I moved to the US and I had to sit with the sales team and build it. Now the outbound sales process is working. You wouldn't believe it.
Okay. But it took you a year of setting it up.
Yeah, setting it up, making some mistakes there along the way, and
learning
then,
and iterating and all of that.
Yeah.
And
now we have a US sales team which is making the outbound process work amazingly well. We have the inbound process also working, and the product has a lot more depth. People love the product. So time to scale up from here. So now I think might be the time to put in money here and scale the business. It took us almost 10 years to get here, I think.
Wow. So for these 10 years, for most of the time you've been, almost all of the time you've been running extremely profitably, a very small team.
Yeah.
Not chasing venture funding, crazy scale growth, any of that. Just focusing on generating value for your customers, building better product, and doing content marketing. Most of it. And the last 5 years has been, I guess, outbound sales as well.
Last couple of years, I think.
Last couple of years
have been outbound sales as well.
So the first attempt didn't work because you read the wrong book.
Could be.
Okay.
But it's still part of the journey. I think you have to learn those lessons before you're ready for the right lessons. It's like,
it's still helpful. I mean, every time you fall, it's helpful. Makes you stronger.
Yeah.
When you get up. Right. All right. So that's, it's hard to find startups who've gone through this kind of a journey to 5-10 million ARR over 10 years. And would you say you have PMF now, or when did you hit PMF if you have it?
So product market fit, initially I think we had it. So it's an iterative journey, okay. So initially I think when we initially built the integration, and people came and said, where were you all along? Yeah. That I think we had some product market fit there. Obviously there was a market pull there.
It's a spectrum. It's not a 0 or 1 thing.
So there was a market pull there. I think 2017, 2018 timeframe, we could feel it. Oh my God. Okay. People would like throw money at you. That's the product market fit. People will say, okay, so we build this voice broadcasting product, and then we build the call center product. Okay. People would say, I will give you $10,000 right now. Okay. You build this product. I know you can build the product, list to me in 3 months. We will use it. And they give you money upfront for it.
That's the
and ask for features because they know we are building and shipping. They would come and ask us for features and give money for it. Okay, and we just couldn't keep build fast enough. It's like keep building, and then they would use it. It was amazing. So that's product market fit, I think. And then it becomes an engine. Okay, at some point you have to make it into a motion. There's some marketing motion, sales motion, and stuff. So now it feels like that motion, and we still see that pull. Okay, customers, like, even last year, 2024 elections, customers who've been with us for 1 year, okay, suddenly comes and says, "Oh my God, I need this feature right now." But then we have a more solid product management process. So we evaluate the process, we evaluate the feature requests among all the set
You're
of
not a
customers.
small
What is
hacky
the
startup
impact
that
anymore? Yeah, we are not that.
You can't just like, okay, you want this? Okay, I'll build it tonight.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You have a process, a system, there's a team.
So all of that is there, but we still see the market pull. I think, especially in the political advocacy non-profit space, significant market pull. I think people love the product and people want more. And we always keep building. Okay, I mean, we always, like, when we use AI tools, we used it to solve customer problems. People love that again. Okay, so people want more of it. So it's like, constantly listening to customers and building what they want. But now it's a more structured process. Now it's just like not an ad hoc script that I build on a support ticket. But there's still, I think, a product. As long as there's a pull, people ask you for things, people are willing to pay for it. And you can, I don't know. So it's like, being in love. I think product market fit is like you will know when you have it. You will know there is a market pulling you.
Yeah.
If you're pushing against it, if it seems like too hard, like when I tried the sales team, it seemed like it was too hard. You're doing something wrong. You don't have it. Okay, that's how it is.
I remember from my first startup, Prackly, my co-founder Parul at one point managed to get someone to give us money to build something we had not even started building. And my mind was blown. What, can that also happen? They've given us money to build something we haven't not even touched yet. And it's just a wonderful thing. Like, it's a market pull. It gives you validation. It gives you cash flow. It gives you conviction.
Yeah. And so product market fit, when you have it, you will know it. Okay.
Yeah.
You will know it. If you have the question, do I have product market fit or not? Most likely you don't.
Yeah. So this was which year?
This is 2018.
2018.
2018.
Okay. And since then you've been growing kind of sustainably, gradually.
Yeah, we've been
gradually figuring out like this outbound sales, all of this, setting that up, and of course building product.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've been, I think, primarily focused on customers, treating our people right, and then growing the business that way.
What were some of the kind of challenging periods after the point where you wanted to avoid getting into consulting?
Challenging period, I think that whole sales process, the predictable revenue was definitely that was like really challenging, because it felt like I was failing at something, and I'm trying different things, multiple different teams, multiple different processes. It still wasn't working. That was, and I was also like not sleeping enough, and like working multiple shifts.
So you've been a solo founder all this while?
Yes, I've been a solo founder.
Do you have like any advisors or anyone you talk to these things about when you're in a struggling, difficult situation?
I have friends, okay. In the initial stages of development, I used to talk with Venki Plivo, co-founder frequently. I think after 2019, I hired one of my, a friend to run the engineering team. So I talked to, so now my leadership team, I share a lot of the things with the leadership team. Okay. So initially we had the initial CTO. We used to work closely with each other. The Morpheus gang has been a great help. Okay. I talk to all the Morpheus founders all the time. Venki is always on the Morpheus thing. I've talked to you. I've talked to Parul. I've talked to like a lot of the Morpheus founders. That is helpful. The leadership team has been helpful. Strix, we've talked to, Uday. All these people have been helpful in different aspects, I think, validation.
So you just bounce your situation off them and let the conversation result in something or the other. Like you get some insights.
I think everybody has a way of looking at it. I just
different perspectives. Like you see
Yeah.
You gather different people's perspectives on the situation or the problem. Is that
That's been helpful. Like Sameer has been very helpful. I talked to Practo co-founder, what's his name? Shashank. Yeah, I've talked to Shashank a lot. Prem Sagar, Tappers, we talked to him a lot. Hyber, Neeraj. Neeraj has been great help. Nimish, I don't know if you know Nimish Adani. He runs House now. It used to be called something else before.
Okay.
He's been a great help.
Okay. So that
I think
being a solo founder.
usually I think startup founders, you rely on that, you rely on the gang, you rely on some of these, your leadership team a lot. So all of that has been helpful.
That's been your kind of support structure as a solo founder.
Yeah.
Okay. So apart from kind of not throwing money at the problem, not going after rapid scale, any other contrarian decisions you've taken in this journey? Or non-mainstream decisions?
Contrarian, I think going after political and focusing on them as a market has been a little bit contrarian. I think it's a niche. It's a niche and it's going to become more vertical as you build more depth. It becomes a vertical kind of a software.
Right.
But it's a bad niche, I think. Therefore, most people don't enter the market or don't stay in the market. Okay, a lot of our competitors have fallen by the wayside.
Why is it bad? What are the reasons why people think it's bad?
Because it's the seasonality of it.
Right, that's one. Yeah.
Okay. Second is the retention. You can't retain people. It's related to the seasonality of it, right? So retention of accounts is harder because the need stops.
Right.
Right. There's a 6 months campaign or an issue that you're fighting about. There's a team formed. They use a set of tools, including us, and then it dissolves.
Right. So you have to keep acquiring new customers.
Keep acquiring new customers.
That's a kind of critical aspect of this business then.
Yeah. And so a lot of the competition has not been able to keep up. I think a lot of people have come up as a competition, fallen by the wayside. I think there's also been VC funded companies that have not been able to scale in this thing. But and people doing layoffs because they scale up really high during election periods and cutting it down.
Right. Which is bad for team morale and everything.
So, but we've been able to consistently keep a small team, like shoot above our weight, and then consistently grow. So that's, I mean, being in the political business is a contrarian decision. I think not chasing after funds and fundraising has been a contrarian decision. I think. Right, because I think for multiple reasons. Okay, so but then focusing on customers first, our people and the team second has been also, I think, we don't focus on creating shareholder value. I think that's bullshit. Okay, maximizing shareholder value.
Even when you are the main shareholder.
Yeah, I think chasing shareholder value is absolute bullshit. Okay, because I think chasing shareholder value means giving more value to customers. Okay, keep giving more value to customers and treat your people right. And then eventually, over a long run, shareholder value goes up. Okay, you don't think of maximizing shareholder value in every single decision you make. Every single decision has to be maximizing customer value. What's good for the customers? What's good for the people? And sort of create a Nash equilibrium out of it. Okay, so good for the customers and good for the people, not just good for the customers, or not just good for the
right.
And if you keep that right, and shareholder value gets maximized as a result of it,
as a side effect of
this. But the goal of every decision is not maximizing shareholder value.
Right.
It's like not doing a layoff of people, or I need to increase my stock price. That's all absolute crap.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
So there's a customer who paid $1,000, okay, 1 month. The next month he asked for a refund of the $1,000.
Okay.
Okay, so now what you do, again comes back to values. In a purely capitalistic mindset, you paid us $1,000.
That was the deal.
That was the deal. Use the product or not. Okay, you're not getting your money back. Okay. What do you think we did? We gave the money back.
What was their claim? We did not use the product, so I want the money back.
I don't want to use the product anymore. I want the money back.
Okay.
We said, please take your money and go. Okay, I mean, figure out. But then that customer eventually came back. Okay, but they came back like almost like a year and a half later. Okay, but that $1,000 was very valuable for me.
Yeah, that was your make or break, your primary goal.
But we still give the money back. Okay, so this is again your values at play, and there is no guidebook for it. The only guidebook is your own values and the fact that you are conscious in building your stuff.
I'm sure.
So if you're truly not giving value to customers, don't take the money. I don't want the money. You get the value, then you pay. Okay.
Right.
And that shows up in a lot of these other values. That's the same thing. This whole partnership also. Partnership going sour on 2020, that 500K thing.
500K contract, yeah.
It went sour. Okay. So that thing, but they still signed the contract. Okay. So the relationship could have gone sour, but it turned out to be a partnership. And they helped us eventually build the sales team, shared the office space with us because the way we ended that contract. Okay.
Right.
So again, it's a values at play, and there is no playbook for all of these.
Yeah, you can't see it coming. It's just impossible. Yeah.
So if we build a startup this way, it turns out different.
But you can't predict or plan this.
Yeah.
Like it will turn out different. Like it will.
So that's
help you.
Yeah. So like I said, I think that's where I think this is the journey of Siddhartha kind of a journey where it's your own individual journey as a founder, as a company to reach where you are going. It's not the traditional VC model of getting something and scaling it with money. I don't think. I don't know. So the startups built this way are totally different from the startups built capitalistic kind of a way, and it's just maybe the founder values and what you define as conscious businesses, I think.
I see. So we talked about like some of your learning, some of your kind of evolution from a perspective of as a businessman or as a founder. Have there been any changes during your journey from the perspective of your inner state, your emotions, your inner being as a person?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's been both. Okay, so I think earlier I was a lot more trying hard to make things work. And trying very, very aggressively pursuing some goals. I think I've changed as a person in terms of accepting what is, and then moving from that space of like a little bit more calmness to moving to a new state. So that's been a personal journey. I think a journey of acceptance.
That's a big
accepting the struggles that you go through and still being calm about a lot of things. I've learned to listen more. Okay, I think listening is a super skill that I've learned. I think listening is the amazing skill to have.
Real listening, actually listening. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. It could be draining, but really understanding another human being more in depth is actually joyful because you can go on the journey together with another human being if you truly understand the other person. Okay.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of time and effort, and I've learned that, and I've become more of a listener within the company and for the
customers,
for the customers,
other stakeholders.
Yeah. So and I've also become more calmer, I think, internally.
And how did you become more calmer and better at listening? Are there any techniques or tips that helped you?
Meditation.
Which form of meditation? So how do you do meditation?
So I just sit in a quiet place and observe my breath. That's the only thing I do. Just sit in a calm place and observe my breath. That is an amazing technique that works if it's done consistently over a period of time.
Are your eyes open or closed?
My eyes are closed most of the time,
Okay.
but sometimes it's also open. That's totally fine. As long as so what happens when I do that is like thoughts sort of flow through my head, and I'm able to become an observer of thoughts. That helps.
Are you able to do this like for minutes at a time, at length, just being the observer of the thoughts? Like how long can you?
No,
You go in and out of it?
I go in and out. Sometimes sometimes you catch the thought and follow the thought, and then you realize you've been following a thought. You bring
and
the
you lost the observer state.
Yeah. And then bring the observation back to your breath. And I think I become more aware of myself and the surroundings. So my observation is on my thought, but suddenly I can hear a lot more.
Yeah, you're aware of more.
And I can feel a lot more. I realized something. Okay, so you know, like if you go to a really dark place, camping. Let's say you're in camping someplace, you can see millions of stars. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Absolutely millions of stars.
Yeah, on a clear sky. Yeah.
But you have to be in a really, really dark place for it. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the same thing exists for sound. There are literally millions of sounds all around us that we just don't hear.
You just block them out because we're just not aware of them. Absolutely, yes.
And you can hear them if you silence the thought, okay? And once you observe that and feel that and hear that, do you know you can hear your pores opening and sweat coming out?
Wow.
You can hear it in your own body.
That I did not know. Wow.
So it's like that. Okay, there are so many sounds around you, you just not listening to.
Is it our thoughts or mind being full which is blocking our ability to listen to that?
I think so. I think so. When you reach that kind of a state, that what I'm talking about, if you get into a more calmer mind, you are able to observe more from your surroundings. You are able to act on more information, and I feel sometimes powerful because I have a lot more information than everybody else.
Yes, of course.
So it's an amazing state to be in, and you're a lot more calmer that way. When you experience it, so some of this can't be really explained till you experience it. Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
I can sometimes see other people's breath.
See, as in like with your eyes, or like be aware of it
with my eyes. So like
eyes.
You're breathing, I'm breathing. I can see your chest coming up and coming down.
Yeah.
Is it shallow? Is it deep? What are you feeling?
It gives you more information. Yeah.
Right.
Even I would not be aware of.
You would not be aware of it. I would be aware of it.
So you can make much better judgments intellectually also.
Yeah. So those things have been amazing. I think meditation as a practice has been amazing that way, and obviously more calmer. And that's what I mean by meditation.
And the listening abilities, have these helped you in your startup as well?
Absolutely. Listening, right? Listening,
of course.
Listening is absolutely okay. I think words are just like a minuscule part of what somebody's trying to communicate.
That is true. Yeah.
There's a lot more information.
There's a lot more information, yeah.
So when I'm saying a sentence to you, the words end here, okay? Your bodily reaction to what you're saying is actually much wider. Starts much earlier, ends much later. There is a whole body telling you something. So it's first of all, you just increase the amount of information that you're getting right there from the body. Then there is the tone. It can be up or down. Then there is the speed at which somebody speaks. So there is so much information available when somebody is telling you a single sentence. Are you listening to all of them? Right? you can listen more. And so all of that is amazing to understand, experience.
Have you become like a human lie detector now? Can you,
I can read people better that way. I think I can understand what people are telling me much better. And like I said, you have more information, and it's
wow.
it's a superpower that everybody has access to. Okay, and few people exercise that superpower. I think,
So you
and
got
that's
this-
what I said. Some of these other like substances reduce that superpower. Okay, so now you don't want those substances because it reduces my superpower.
Right.
Alcohol reduces the superpower significantly.
Fair enough.
And for a long amount of time, I'm like, I don't want to lose this power. No.
For some people, it can also increase creativity for a period of time because it also dulls their inhibitions.
Maybe actually it
For
maybe
artists,
helps us like a social lubricant. All of that, it's helpful. Okay, I mean there is a cost to it.
So
okay?
there's two sides of every
it's a
coin.
trade-off. Okay,
Yeah.
there's a cost to it.
Right.
There is a benefit to it.
Right. Like with anything.
So and you have to figure out if that cost is worth the benefit that you
Yeah,
get.
yeah.
That's all it is.
Okay. So this self-observation and meditation is what helped you evolve these qualities, or was there anything?
Yeah, that I
else?
think the significant portion of it, like I think made me calmer and helped me make like more deliberate, conscious decisions in the business. So that's been a change. There's been a change. I think I've also learned how to deal with people a little bit better.
Can you talk more about that? In what sense?
So the earlier we so I used to treat people's mistakes and people's like like lack of quality of the delivery of the work or actual delivery of the work itself with little bit more forgiveness. I think I would forgive a lot of the mistakes and hopefully help people learn, grow over a long period of time. Okay. So it's like
You
how
would keep forgiving over and over.
keep forgiving over and over, and almost like treating people like family, right? So if you have like a kid who does a mistake, you don't throw the kid out, right? So you treat them like family. Okay, so they will learn. Like life will teach them. I will teach them. I will create the environment where they will learn and grow better,
Right.
kind of a thing.
Right.
And I think that's a flawed model.
Did you get this from being a parent yourself?
I am a parent.
Yeah, you are a parent, and you try to implement that at
Maybe I did that at work. I mean, we were really very kind to people and forgiving of a lot of these things. And now I realize that's a mistake. I think team has to be treated like a really high performance sports team, if you will, right? Like everybody has a role to play, and people have to play the role, and you have to expect people to play the role, and be harder on them if they don't play the role. Okay. I think being harder and making tough decisions for people is part of making them grow. At some point, they cannot be part of the team because they're not fulfilling the role that the team requires, and you're letting the team down. And so I've learned to be a lot more
What's the right word?
stronger in terms of able to make tougher decisions now than I was earlier. Earlier, like I said, it was like a more family-like. Now it's more like a sports team-like. I think sports team is the right analogy for a startup in a business.
Absolutely, yeah.
The other model is a flawed model because you're not helping the person and yourself. Okay, in making tough decisions, you are actually eventually providing the necessary impetus for them to become better. So 6 months, 1 year later, both are better. The business is better, the person is better because you are able to make tough decisions. I've learned that lesson. I think that's been a change in the way I sort of lead people now.
Can we get into more specifics of this? So when you say making that tough decision and not being as forgiving as you used to be, what does it mean? Like, I'm guessing being critical would be one part of it. Then what else? Like on a practical level, what does it mean? So let's say if I have been screwing up or performing badly for a couple of months, then what do you do?
So I would work with you and say, okay, so what's going on here? Okay, so clearly telling you this performance is not up to the mark.
Okay, that's
you're not meeting it.
Right.
Okay, and then we give you I give you a specific time frame by which we get some plan together to improve it.
So you put me on a very hard target.
Very hard target. If you're not able to do it, then take you out of the team. So you cannot perform this role anymore. Okay.
Right.
And take you out of the team and get somebody else to perform the role. Okay. So earlier I would have given you a lot more chances. Okay. So you didn't do this. Okay. I give you a target. You're not able to do it. Or maybe something else is wrong with you. Let's work together. Maybe a new target. Now it's like, you don't miss it. You miss it. Okay. Then let's get somebody else. Why don't you go figure this out? Maybe in a different role. Maybe in a different company, but figure out what you need to do to get this, and then we can consider you can join the team or not later. Okay. So being able to take those tough calls has helped. It will help you and the business, I think.
Okay. Well, and so you said you are like 40, 50 people now?
Yeah, 40, 50 people, yeah.
And how many of them are managers or leaders?
We have about, I think we have VP of Engineering, VP of Marketing, Head of Support, and Customer Success and Sales, maybe 4 or 5.
Okay. So you started off as like one person, made your first $1,000, with 3-4 people who made the first $300,000. Can you talk about your evolution in that way, from being like a hardcore individual contributor to maybe a kind of middle manager, and then now you're leading a team of leaders?
Right.
So what are the changes that had to happen, both kind of internal and also like professional, or in terms of the systems and processes?
Okay. Good question. So initially I was doing a lot of stuff. Okay. I was hands-on doing all the roles. I think that gave me a little bit of a leg up. Okay. I actually did support, like I said, as my son's name for a long time. A lot of my original customers maybe remember the Jaden name.
Yeah.
I actually did sales calls. So engineering was the first one I built a team for. So we had like a head of engineering, and like that time it was a small team, like a 10 people team. Now it's like about like 20-30 people team. And once I had a leader of engineering and the engineering processes are running fine, then I sort of built so it was a little bit sequential. I think, like, marketing and engineering, sort of we had like a set of leaders at the initial team itself. So somebody would write content and figure that out. And engineering, we have a leader. And then we hired like a support. I was manually doing it with 2 people myself. Eventually we hired a support leader in 2021, I think.
But how did you evolve in your interactions with the rest of the team, or
so once I hire a leader, I believe in giving a lot of autonomy to the leader. Okay. So once I have the leader is almost like the CEO of their thing. So I set them high level goals and let them manage how to do the daily operational stuff they did. That was also, I think, sometimes good, sometimes bad. But all the leaders have a lot of autonomy to build the team that they want, the process that they want, and but as long as they meet the outcomes that the business requires. Okay. So I was able to let go, because initially I started with engineering, which was the thing that was closest to me that I let go. So I was able to let go each of those things and work through the leaders. Okay. So a lot of autonomy and freedom.
Is that I mean, that sounds like a hard thing to do. You've been doing something yourself for a while, you're into it, and then you suddenly get someone on board and you have to let go of your way of doing it. So you're saying you give them autonomy, and on the other side you were doing it yourself. So that means you were like really into it. You were running that function, right?
I was running the function. So I was able to define
overnight you can
I'm able to define the outcome. Okay. Define the outcome.
Sure.
Like especially support. Okay. Support was really close to me. Okay. Because I used to go, every support interaction, go a little bit above and beyond whatever that the customer needs.
Expected, or
Yeah. And I sort of wanted that from the support team as well. But even now, I think the support team. So I read that book. I don't know if you read the book by Zappos co-founder on customer support. Okay.
Thankfully, I don't read the books that don't work. No, I do. I do too. But these two are not.
You have not read the book. So this is also a book. This book actually helpful in terms of telling you about how you can go above and beyond in every customer interaction that you're having. Okay. And they do go above and beyond. Okay.
But not as much as you did.
I think now they have come to whatever
Closer
I
to-
expect,
okay.
and they still think. I still ask them to go. Can we can go even
But
more?
was it harder initially? So let's zero in on the moment where on the day you have been doing this function, let's say customer support, and then you got a customer success leader, right? Now you're also saying that I give them autonomy to do things their way. On day 1, day 2, day 3, week 1, week 2, their way is guaranteed not going to be the same as your way,
Yeah.
right? Is that difficult to let go of your way of doing things which has been working successfully and let someone else do it in a different way? And obviously it will not be the same as your way, and most likely it will not be as effective as your way, because you have figured out your way over time, right? In this company, this setting, this.
Okay, so but I still interview people who will take this role, right? So I tell them what we've been doing so far and what's working.
So
Okay.
the onboarding sets them up to do it almost as effectively.
Almost the interview
as-
process itself, I'm figuring out who wants to do this. Let's step back a bit. Okay, so I only hire people who love what they do. Okay, at least, I try to figure that out in the interview process. So when we hired the support leader, I figured out that he loves doing customer support. And if somebody loves doing customer support, then you can learn from them. I am not an expert in customer support by any standards, okay? But this person loves customer support, so I learn from them. So I say, this is what I've been doing, this is what's working, but
Right.
you love it more. Tell me how to make this better. So they come with the perspective of that, okay? And I've learned to figure out to look for signs of love from the other person in the field that they're looking for, okay? The signs of love are very small in nature, okay? I think the signs of love are not big, grandiose things. Signs of love are small things, little things. Because it's easy to do the big, grandiose things. It's much, much harder to do the small things. So, somebody who does the small things in their craft, or the people who actually love the craft. So once somebody loves the craft, they themselves want it to become the best it can be, because not because I want it, because they want it.
So you don't really have to put so much effort if you do the hiring right.
Yeah. So I'm still doing the hiring. So I am hiring the people who love their work in these small things. Have you been in love?
Yes.
So then you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've been in love. It's easy to throw a huge big birthday party. Okay, it's a surprise party or a surprise trip.
Yeah.
You know what's harder to do? Harder to ask the person, have you had breakfast?
Yeah.
Make breakfast for them every day, right? Make sure they had a good sleep the previous day.
Yeah.
How did their day go? And do it every day.
Yeah. It's
easy to throw the grandiose party that you want once in a while, right?
There's a saying, any idiot can handle a crisis. It's day-to-day living that wears you down.
Yeah, there you go. So if you can find that in business, in craft, somebody who loves their craft, it's much, much easy to let go.
Got it. So, of course, I mean, you've been so successful with such a small team, so it has to be an amazing team. Not many people can, claim those numbers with this team size. I think even in the world, would be a very small set. So, I mean, at least my belief has always been that, great work happens when you build great teams. And the outcomes are, again, a side effect of the great team and the great work.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely true.
So really,
I think that's the way to let go also. Okay? I think once you find somebody who loves that craft more than you do,
it's easy to
let go.
It's not difficult.
Because they would do what's good and what to improve. Okay, we've had great product leaders, we've had great support leaders, great engineering leaders, great marketing leaders. All of them love their craft.
So then you must be very selective in your hiring, especially leadership hiring.
Yeah, it takes a long time to hire. It takes a long time
because the type of people you're talking about are hard to find.
Yeah.
And from experience, they are hard to find.
They're absolutely hard to find. But it's worth the effort, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you don't have to manage them anymore. You can delegate much better. They get the autonomy, and you get the outcome.
Yeah. So again, like compounding outcome for the ROI.
Yeah.
Okay. So where do we go from here for CallHub and for you? What's next?
I think we build a great product, great team. Okay. And we have, I think, in the world of AI, we have the opportunity to expand even further and create a lot more goodness in the world and much larger impact. Okay. And so CallHub is going to go build that. We're going to build a much larger ecosystem for our customers. So we're going to build an end-to-end product for our customers. Currently, I think our product is used in like primarily field deployment space of political campaigns and advocacy groups. So when they want to go out in the field, they use our product to organize and mobilize people. We want to give them an end-to-end solution, like help them raise funds using a fundraising tool set. We want to help them recruit great people and give them a set of tools to actually deploy those funds as well. So a complete product for them. As a side effect of this, we'll have a network of great people, I think, and we plan to use AI effectively here to figure out who the good people are and who needs more training and who needs more support, and build a network of these people that can be used by all these political campaigns and advocacy groups. So we have like a much broader and a high impact vision.
And so see, I mean, AI is obviously the buzzword today. So you mentioned it a couple of times. Are you using or going to use AI in your internal company working operations, or are you going to use AI to build products for your customers, or both?
Both, of course, both.
I'm guessing you already started using AI.
We already use AI in all of our stack. Okay, our engineering team uses it, our marketing team uses it, our support team uses it. I mean, everybody uses AI internally to deliver high quality work. Okay, I use it, by the way, extensively.
So, I mean, in some of my other conversations, I've noticed sometimes people want to build AI tools or build AI software products, yet they're not even using it in-house.
Oh, really?
They want to build AI products because it's the thing to build. It'll get money. They can build a better product, whatever. But they haven't even properly started using it in-house. Do you think that can work?
No, I don't think that will work.
I also.
Yeah, I don't think that will work.
They won't even like properly understand AI. And what you can do, what you cannot do with it.
Right. What are the limitations of it? And things are also changing so rapidly.
And there's so many nuances. They won't even be able to keep up with they're changing so rapidly.
Yeah.
I think there have been 3 AI breakthroughs in the last few months.
There you go.
Agents, reasoning, and DeepSeek, like open sourcing and making it so much cheaper.
Yeah, and now you can put like AI in, like, every customer can have their own AI agents. Okay. So I think the context has increased. So a lot of things have changed, and we internally extensively use it. Okay. But we are also solving problems for our customers with it.
Right.
Not just putting a wrapper over the existing AI set of tools. So then for that, again, requires deep listening to customer problems and solving whatever their problems are. So we are also on that path. Yeah.
Have you started hiring AI researchers, AI engineers?
No.
Not yet.
All our people are AI researchers.
Okay.
Like, so we are more focused on customer problems. Okay.
Right.
So what are the problems that currently are not solvable or solvable but requires a lot of time and people? Right? So we are solving those pressing problems for our customers. So I think one example I can give you is like, we have like, customers using like 500 to 1,000 people to mobilize voters for an election, right? Among those 1,000 people, some are doing great, some are not doing great. A campaign manager spends almost 6 months training these people, creating content for them, okay, hiring them, training them, creating content for them, and then deploy them on the field. But on the field, you have no idea what is the quality of their work, okay? So the earlier way of doing things is had to have like a quality assurance team, do random sampling of what people are doing, and then figure out who's good, who needs more training.
Again, that's at best a guesstimate.
Yeah. Currently, we can evaluate all of it, every single thing that they're doing, and figure out who the good people are, who the people who need training are, who are really bad at it.
So using machine learning on the data points that...
On all the data points that they're... Also, all you have to do is give me information about what they're doing on a daily basis. I can figure out the wheat from the chaff.
Okay.
That's been a great help for our customers. I think 2024, we deployed it and customers love it. And they want more. We will 100% do more about that. And now what we can also do is give these good people better work also. Okay.
Right.
So some of these campaigns, like I said, is very seasonal in nature. 6 months they do something and then they're like, doing something else. They're out of work. Okay. So now we can give work for them year round. We know exactly who the good people are and connect the good people with the good causes. And create this network of really great people. I think in the world of AI, I think a network of great people is invaluable. And that network of great people will be in CallHub.
Oh, amazing. And do you, so has your engineering team evolved? Or, I mean, I'm sure it has evolved, but how has it evolved? Because AI technology is somewhat different from traditional software development. The stack is different. Have you just cross-skilled your existing engineering team, or have you hired new people to use machine learning and AI as part of your product?
We've actually only trained our existing people. Okay, so existing people. I think what happened is our engineering team is also very sort of entrepreneurial. I mean, they try new things as they're coming along anyways. Okay, they were using Copilot way before Copilot became popular.
Yeah.
So they've been
early adopters of modern technology.
And so it's been very easy to get them to use AI more in their daily work.
Like you said, they love their craft, so they always want to get better at it. Like,
there you go. Yeah. Okay, that's a good idea. I didn't think of that. Yeah, that's probably why they are doing this. But they've already been on it. Okay.
Right.
And we just like enabled it. Okay. So we will, pay for the subscription for you. That kind of stuff. Okay.
Okay.
Actually, if you love your craft, you would like experiment
with this
yourself.
You don't need someone to tell. Like, you will be the one telling your boss, "Oh, I want to do it this way. New technology is very cool.
Yeah,
it's more powerful."
Even before actually ChatGPT was released, we were on AI. Our engineering team was building something cool with it. Before that, I think when Whisper came out, ChatGPT was not out, right? So when Whisper came out, our people were like experimenting with some of those things.
Nice. Okay, I'll just ask like one last question. What is the relation between Augustus and CallHub? Because I'm guessing you are the kind of majority shareholder. How do you look at CallHub? Like, is it an asset you own, a company you own? Like a lot of people say, it is my company, I am doing this, I'm doing this much revenue, profit, whatever. How do you look at it?
Interesting question. So I look at CallHub as a vehicle for my personal growth. Okay. So I think internally I'm growing as a person. I think this is my path to reaching wherever I need to reach and create the highest impact I can create in the world. CallHub is a vehicle for that, right? So I think we will create a much larger impact and I will grow as a person along with it. And fulfill my, I think, maybe destiny of, I think this is my path. In all my meditative practices and thoughts that I observe, it turns out, it seems like this is my purpose.
To grow CallHub?
To grow CallHub. So this is the purpose and this is the vehicle through which I grow and I create the largest impact, okay?
So the primary goal is your growth. The vehicle to do that is CallHub's growth. Is that accurate way to put it? Or?
No, I think the primary thing is an impact a person like Augustus can have on the world. What is the maximum amount of goodness and impact I can create on the world? For that, I need to become a better person. And CallHub is the vehicle for that, for me to become a better person and create the maximum good in the world. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So the top level goal is creating maximum positive impact in the world. You do that via improving yourself and your self growth, and CallHub is the vehicle to improve yourself and your self growth.
Yeah.
Like that's how I see it vertically, like three steps.
Could be.
Maybe.
I mean, that's how it seems this way. Okay. Maybe there are more steps to be, more stuff that'll reveal itself later. But right now, it seems like CallHub is almost my personal purpose and destiny.
And you know this how? Like via the inner voice during meditation, or did someone tell you? Did you read it in a book?
No. I think it's primarily, I think, through the inner voice, through meditation, you figure out, I think, it's what your purpose is. Like I think we talked about earlier, it's your background thread. What's your background thread? I think my background thread is CallHub. It's always running in my head for some reason.
Okay. Well, best of luck with CallHub in the future of CallHub, and the AI era will be very exciting for all of us. I'm sure CallHub will be a kind of very important part of it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Augustus.